Ladies and gentlemen, let me begin with a truth so profound it might shake you. The most dangerous thing a man can do is speak too soon. The most powerful thing a man can do is speak with wisdom or not at all. The road to greatness is not just paved by what you say, but more often by what you choose to keep silent. Now, I do not claim to speak for God, but I have studied the laws of success, the minds of the great, and the whisperings of wisdom long enough to know this. When a person conceives a dream, an idea, a vision, or a goal, it is in its most delicate and vulnerable state. Like a seed freshly sown into the soil, it requires nurturing, privacy, and time before it can sprout and withstand the winds of doubt and criticism. Sharing your dream too early exposes it to the influence of others, many of whom may not understand it, believe in it, or wish to see it succeed. Their skepticism, even if unspoken, can pierce the confidence you are trying to build. Words have power, and the wrong words at the wrong time can plant doubt where there should be faith. Often, people feel compelled to talk about their ambitions in hopes of receiving encouragement or validation. But dreams don't need applause in their infancy. They need discipline, focus, and the quiet resolve to take form. Telling others can also create a false sense of progress. When we speak of what we plan to do, our minds may interpret it as if we've already taken action, sapping the urgency to actually get moving. Furthermore, not everyone is equipped to see the value in what only you were meant to create. Vision is personal. It's a gift tailored to your experience, your calling. Sharing it prematurely allows others to shape it, question it, or even dismiss it. And once that happens, you may start questioning it yourself. It is wiser to build quietly, to let the dream grow roots, develop structure, and show signs of life. When the results begin to appear, when the vision starts to manifest, then, and only then, will people understand what you saw all along. Until then, protect your vision. It's not secrecy, it's strategy. It's not fear, it's wisdom. There is immense power in restraint. When you keep your next move to yourself, you preserve the energy and focus needed to bring it to life. Announcing your intentions too early often creates a deceptive sense of accomplishment. Speaking about what you plan to do can trick the brain into feeling as though progress has already been made, which dulls the drive to act. The more you talk, the more momentum you may lose. Moreover, not everyone is meant to know your plans. Some will misunderstand your intentions, others may criticize them, and a few might even try to sabotage them. When your strategy is exposed prematurely, it becomes vulnerable to outside influence, opinions, distractions, or resistance that can derail your progress. People often respond based on their own limitations, not your potential. If you listen too closely, their fears can become your own. In silence, you create an environment where action takes precedence over validation. You remove the pressure to perform for an audience and instead build in alignment with your own standards. Silence also adds an element of unpredictability. When others don't know your next move, they cannot interfere with it, copy it, or block it. This creates a strategic advantage. Successful people don't shout about what they're about to do. They show it through execution. Let your results be the announcement. Let your progress speak for itself. Every moment you spend explaining is a moment you could spend building. When your work is done, it will not need justification. It will be undeniable. By acting first and speaking later, you ensure that your words carry the weight of proof. There is no greater statement than a goal achieved, and there is no better defense against doubt than a result that can't be ignored. Your vulnerabilities are not weaknesses. They are parts of your humanity, but when shared carelessly, they become tools others can use against you. In a world where not everyone has pure intentions, revealing your struggles, insecurities, or failures to the wrong people can open doors to betrayal, judgment, or manipulation. Trust is not something to be distributed freely. It is something to be earned over time through consistency, loyalty, and shared trials. Many people make the mistake of believing that openness is always virtuous. They confuse honesty with exposure, thinking that sharing everything about themselves makes them authentic or brave. While transparency has its place, discernment is even more important. Not everyone listening to your story wants you to win. Some listen out of curiosity, others out of competition, and a few out of hidden envy. The very people you confide in could one day use your confessions to discredit you or weaken your confidence when you least expect it. Emotional strength includes the ability to manage what you share and with whom. The strongest people know how to sit with their pain, process it, and grow from it, without broadcasting it to those who haven't proven they deserve that level of access. It's not about being secretive, it's about being wise with your self-respect. When you do find someone worthy of that trust, someone who has earned the right to witness your unguarded truth, then and only then should you speak freely. Until that time, protect your inner battles like treasure. They are part of your evolution. Share them too soon or with the wrong hearts, and they can slow your journey. Guarding your vulnerabilities is not a sign of fear. It is a sign of maturity and strength. Doing good should come from a place of integrity, not a desire for recognition. When your actions are motivated by applause, they lose their sincerity. True character is revealed not by what you do when people are watching, but by what you do when no one is. The need to constantly broadcast acts of kindness, generosity, or sacrifice often stems from a hunger for validation rather than a genuine desire to help. In the process, the goodness of the deed becomes tainted by ego. There is something sacred about quiet generosity. When you give without needing anyone to know, you affirm that your intentions are pure. The act becomes about the other person, not about how you appear in the eyes of others. In contrast, when people perform good deeds just to be seen, their focus shifts from the impact of their actions to the approval of an audience. This diminishes the power of the act and turns it into a performance. Recognition is fleeting. It may come in the form of praise, likes, or applause, but it rarely lasts. What endures is the impact your actions have on others, especially when done from the heart. The universe has a way of rewarding silent deeds. You may not get public praise, but you gain something deeper: peace of mind, inner growth, and quiet strength. You align yourself with a higher principle that doesn't need external validation to feel complete. Some of the most powerful and influential acts in history were done in silence, with no spotlight. The people behind them never sought credit. They simply saw a need and met it. That is true greatness, not the act itself, but the motive behind it. When your good deeds are driven by principle rather than performance, they carry a timeless power that no applause can match. Knowledge is one of the most valuable forms of power a person can possess, and like all power, it must be handled with care. Sharing everything you know, especially without considering who is listening, can lead to unintended consequences. Not everyone around you is prepared to handle the weight of your wisdom, and some may even twist it for their own gain. When you reveal too much, you leave yourself open to exploitation by those who are more interested in using your knowledge than understanding it. The wise understand that true mastery is not in speaking everything you know, but in knowing when to stay silent. There is strength in holding back, in keeping certain insights close until the right moment or the right person comes along. When you give away all your understanding freely and to everyone, you reduce its value. Worse, you might empower someone who will use that information in harmful or selfish ways. It's not about being secretive or arrogant. It's about protecting what you've earned through experience, struggle, and insight. People often ask for advice or information not out of a genuine desire to grow, but out of curiosity or personal advantage. Giving too much to such individuals is like handing a sword to someone who doesn't know how to wield it. They may end up hurting themselves or others. Part of being wise is recognizing who is ready for the truth and who is not. Share what uplifts, guide those who seek growth, but don't feel compelled to reveal everything. There will always be those who misunderstand, misuse, or mock what they're not ready to receive. Holding back is not weakness, it is discernment. It allows your words, when finally spoken, to carry more weight and purpose. In silence, your wisdom matures, and in time, it will speak volumes. In a world that constantly demands noise, status updates, opinions, announcements, and explanations, silence has become a rare and powerful form of self-mastery. There is strength in knowing when to speak, but there is greater strength in knowing when to remain silent. Not everything requires a response. Not every thought needs to be shared. Silence creates mystery, preserves energy, and builds an aura of control that words often dismantle. People who move in silence are often underestimated, yet they are the ones who tend to make the most impact. Their quietness is not emptiness. It is focused intention. While others are busy talking, explaining, and defending themselves, those who embrace silence are observing, planning, and executing. They understand that words can dilute power. When you say too much, you expose your hand, reveal your strategy, and give others the opportunity to challenge or obstruct you. But when you remain silent, you hold the advantage. No one can predict your next step or prepare a countermeasure when they don't even know you're moving. Silence also allows for deeper thought and greater clarity. It gives you room to listen to yourself, to others, to the world around you. And when you do choose to speak, your words carry more weight because they are rare, deliberate, and meaningful. In a noisy world, silence stands out. It signals strength, confidence, and wisdom. The most dangerous people are often the loudest, but the most powerful are usually the quietest. They know that action speaks louder than anything they could say. When you learn to value your silence, you reclaim your time, your focus, and your authority. You no longer feel the need to prove anything, and that alone is one of the greatest freedoms a person can achieve.